Hello guys, it's our new video and we're gonna start speaking about programming. So what should you know about the programming? Guess what we're gonna speak today. So what is it? Today's world we are all heavily reliant on various software products that were carefully programmed by developers. But what is computer programming? This article I'll explain you and provide some definitions of programming as well as examples of different types of programmers. I'll also suggest a list of courses you can take to start learning how to code. Definition of the programming: a computer program consists of code that is executed on a computer to perform particular tasks. This code is written by the program. Programming is the process giving machines a set of instructions that describes how a program should be carried out. Programmers will spend their whole careers learning a variety of programming languages and tools so they can effectively build computer programs. Programmer will start by using a code editor or IDE to write what is called source code. Mm, This is a collection of code written in a programming language that other programmers can read. Source code needs to be converted into machine's language so machines can understand the instructions and execute the program. This process of converting source code into machine's language is known as compiling. Sorry guys, let's continue. Examples of compiled programming languages would be C and C++. There are other languages that do not use compilers. Instead, these languages will use an interpreter that will read and execute the code. Examples of interpreted programming language would be JavaScript and PHP. Once the code is executed, then the computer program can run. The different types of computer programs include word processor, database system, video games, and websites. These computer programs allow us to interact with different software, devices, and services like phones, websites, and the computers themselves. History of programming. Many historians believe Ada Lovelace was the first to create a published computer program in the mid-19th century. She was a mathematician who can translate Lego Federico Menabre's writings on the analytical engine. In this translation, Ada had added her own extensive notes and created a method for calculating Bernoulli numbers for the analytical engine. The work of mathematician also Church as well as the Turing machine was the first introduction of computer codes. In the 1920s, computers were created, which was followed by the earliest programming language for the next century. As machines and technology continued to develop, so did the number of programming languages. Types of programming languages. There are hundreds of programming languages in existence. Developers will first consider the needs of the application so they can decide which language would be appropriate to use. Here are a few popular programming languages: Python, JavaScript, C, C++, Java, C#, Ruby, PHP. Some of these languages are primarily used in one field of development, while others are more general-purpose programming languages. So JavaScript is primarily used in web development and is usually the first programming language learned by beginner web developers. JavaScript can also be used for mobile and game development. Python can be used in a variety of areas like data analysis, machine learning, and web development. Programming languages are grouped in a variety of categories. Here is a list of some of the categories. So wait a second so that you can recollect everything in your mind, understand it better, and we're gonna continue in a few seconds. Recollect all the things I've spoken now. Yeah, so guys, let's go. Machine language, a low-level language that contains of zeros and ones binary. High-level languages are compiled into machine's code so the code can be executed by the computer. Assembly language, a low-level language that is compiled by an assembler. Assemblers translate human code to machine code. For several languages, this approach goes through a series of procedures before a program is executed on the computer. For example, Go and Java. It's not the low-level programming languages that are rather high and difficult to study. Scripting languages. These languages often times don't need to be compiled, run, rather interpreted. Interpreted means an interpreter will read and execute the code instead of being compiled into machine code. Example, JavaScript and PHP. Functional languages. This works with the idea of building complex programs through a collection of smaller functions. For example, Haskell and Scala. Object-oriented languages. This works with the idea of building programs around collections of objects, for example, Java and Python. They are almost the most popular languages, and I suppose everyone should study them in case you are already acknowledged of some different languages and you studied the simplest one. There are many more social paradigms and languages to explore that we didn't cover in this article, but this should give you a good start into the various types of programming languages out there. Types of programming jobs. There are many types of programming jobs that you can choose from. This article will just focus on a few areas. So, web development. These types of programmers build applications for the web. They will work with languages like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, Python, and more. There are plenty of courses that you can take online to teach yourself. You can also go through a bootcamp which entails months of intensive study. Salaries will differ from locations, but they tend to be high-paying jobs. Here are some resources to look into if you are interested in this field, and I'm gonna give you some links of that. Also, it's used for web development. These types of developers build applications for mobile devices. Programming languages will include React Native, Swift, Flutter, Java, and Kotlin. There are plenty of courses that you can take online to teach yourself. Salaries will differ between locations, but they tend to be high-paying jobs. Here are some resources to look into if you're interested in the field. Game development. These programmers will build custom games for mobile, desktop, and game console use. Programming languages can include C++, C# and Loop. These programmers will work for small independent game studios as well as larger international companies like Sony. There are plenty of courses that you can take online to teach yourself. Salaries will differ between locations, but they tend to be high-paying jobs. Also, it's used for computer systems engineer. This professional combines computer science and engineering to work on complex business applications. Programming languages will include Python, Java, and C++. The typical educational path would be a formal bachelor's degree in computer science. Salaries will tend to be in the six figures. So guys, that's all for today. I've spoken a lot, you understand a great deal of information, so you should definitely put your likes as I'm doing my best. So guys, bye bye.